Hey guys, it's me. Welcome to the series Let's Read the Bible. Today we're going to read about Gideon destroying his father's altar to Baal. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Alright, let us dive into Judges chapter 6. This is very important because this is kind of like the turning point where Israel turns back to the Lord, so pay attention. Verse 25. And it came to pass at night that the Lord said to Gideon, Arise, destroy your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole. And Gideon did so. He was afraid of the anger of his father, Baal-zebub, for he was a great man in the city of Sukkot. And Gideon feared the townspeople might come and attack him if they heard that he destroyed the altar to Baal. So Gideon called his servants and said, If you fear to go with me, then I will go alone. So he went alone to the altar of Baal. Now, to understand what happened here, we have to understand a little bit of background. See, Israel repeatedly fell away from the Lord and served other gods. When they did that, God allowed them to be oppressed by other nations. Then, whenever they cried out to God, he would raise up a judge to deliver them. And this deliverance was temporary because as soon as the judge died, Israel went right back to worshiping other gods, and the cycle would start over again. This had been happening for generations. Now, during the time of the judge, there was one man named Gideon who was from the tribe of Manasseh. And one day, while Gideon was threshing wheat, the angel of the Lord appeared to him and told him that he was going to deliver Israel from the oppression of the Midianites. And Gideon didn't believe him at first. But the angel reassured him and told him to do a few miraculous signs. And after all that, Gideon still wasn't convinced. But he agreed to let the angel spend the night in his house. And at night, God told him to tear down his father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole. Now, Gideon's dad was a priest of Baal, which was a Canaanite god, and he probably had an altar in his house where he would sacrifice to this god. And the Asherah pole was probably a wooden post that represented fertility. So God told Gideon to destroy these symbols of false worship in his house. But Gideon was afraid because his father was a great man in the city, meaning he was very influential. And Gideon was afraid that if the townspeople heard that he destroyed the altar to Baal, they would come and attack him. So he waited till morning, destroyed the altar, and then ran to the hilltop. This act of courage was the beginning of Israel's return to the Lord. Now Gideon's faith wasn't perfect, but God used him greatly because he was willing to obey even when he was afraid. So let's remember to be courageous and obedient, just like Gideon. So guys, what did you learn from today's passage? Let me know in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of Let Us Read the Bible. Till next time, be blessed.